Hi, good afternoon everybody. It is now February the 17th, a Saturday, about 5:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and we are going to take a look at Bitcoin. So everything has gone to plan thus far, and I'm just going to save my image here so I can open up a chart to show you guys it. So here's the chart that we had a while ago. Before we start, make sure you guys also upvote this on Steemit. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share the material as well. That would be fantastic. So excuse this part. Take this off the table for now. Take it off just for now, okay? Because we're going to talk about the more specific structures right here, okay? So we've had a very nice bull run, and everything has been going exactly as planned. What we're going to do that I want to point out first is treat this as a major support line right here, okay? This area right here is a major resistance zone that we eventually broke out of between 10,000 and 10,500. Now, the wave 5 target is somewhere between right here, 10,750 and 10,200. And I still stand by this, that 10,200 will most likely be the very top. Now, how did we derive this? We derived it by taking wave 3, assuming that it hit roughly 161.8. So I will assume that the 261 will be the pretty much the second hit that we're gonna get. Right below it probably, maybe 10,005 at most, but that will be really pushing it right there. So just based on all of these extensions, we're pretty much bang on target. Now I wanna do a technical analysis from the beginning to catch everybody up. Let's do, first of all, a candlestick analysis here, okay? We're just flirting with this 55 EMA, which is amazing. I'm going to pull up my bitfinex here so we can see how this crossover is looking right now, okay? Just give me a second. I'm just closing some of my screens here. All right, so let's go to the daily chart. We go to the daily chart and we see that it is flirting with the 55 moving average right here, all right? So with the 55 moving average, we can easily assume that if we break above this 55 EMA and close above it, it's going to look really good, guys. Like, we're talking really good. Let's talk about coin market cap right here. So Bitcoin's coin market cap, market cap right now is about $187 billion. So we've actually gone up from 490 billion to 514 billion in just a few short days, which is quite amazing. We look at the 24-hour volume for the historical data, first of all, and we say that the volume has been, slow, 5, 6, 7, and then boom, 9,000, huge uptrend, 9 billion, then 7 billion. And today we're already averaging about 8.6 billion. And I don't know if the candle closed yet. Did it? No, not quite yet. We have about 30 minutes until the candle close, so we're going to have a chance to successfully close above it. So it's looking really good. We're getting a series of higher highs on every single candle. Major resistance area right over here, of course, and this is also another major factor why I think that we're not going to break about 11,200 ranges right over here. We're probably just going to hover over there for a bit. We're almost getting into the bullish zone above 60 RSI, which is also a really good indication as well. Everything is uptrending very nicely right now. We're about to reach, we're already breaking into bullish zones according to the RSI and the 12-hour chart, uptrending very nicely. On the 6-hour chart, we're reaching some overbought zones already. On the 3-hour chart, we're definitely reaching some overbought zones. On the 1-hour chart, we're uptrending a little bit still. On the 30-minute chart, there's still no timer on here, but there's about 20 minutes left on this candle, and we're getting a doji candle here already. Let's look at the 15-minute chart now. We're getting a spinning top here, okay? This is a bearish spinning top. It implies there's some pressure to come down here, right? And we have about 5 minutes left on this candle, which is a doji candle right here. So I think a lot of people will consider taking profit soon, just based on market psychology of candlestick analysis, and with the volume slightly downtrending as well. The volume is slowly decreasing on a 15-minute chart. On a 5-minute chart, we are extremely overbought right now. If I was saying oversold, my apologies. I'm talking about overbought here, okay? So you guys can see a series of lots of different candles that's being rejected. So think of the bulls and the bears as fighting. Think of the market as two different sides right now that are constantly fighting. They are going back and forth, and there's a tug of war battle. Now the big question is, when this 5-minute EMA, or sorry, MACD crosses over, and because we're in extremely overbought regions around 80 right now, will we actually start our official downtrend? And that is the big question, right? So stay tuned for that. Let's break down this Elliott wave. Let's break down this Elliott wave, and I want to talk about the beginning part of Elliott wave in general. So we have on our uptrend 5 beautiful waves going up like this. Let me just get the waves in here for you guys to see it much more clearly. So this one's going to be one of my more detailed technical analysis. It's going to be a pretty long video, I can just tell already, because I want to get caught up. I didn't really do too much TA yesterday on it. So at the end of every impulse move up that has 5, what we like to do is treat this zone right here as a hard resistance. And then we get some sort of ABC correction, just as an example like that, right? And then at the end of ABC, we attempt to break out into an impulse wave. And a lot of the times it fails. So because it fails, we end up getting some sort of WXY correction, which is called a double zigzag, like this. And this is where we are right now. We finished our C, and we're now attempting an impulse wave upwards, like this. And there's no debating at all that the first wave is very ugly. Now, I want to talk about this specific structure right here, all right? This specific structure is the most important one. This, I'm just going to delete the rest, and we're going to talk about modes of failure, because these are very important concepts to understand. Now, if that actually fails, oh, you know what? Yeah, let's just do that. If this actually fails, where there was an ABC, let's talk about this again. Now we're talking about an ABC like this. And then if that fails, it makes another impulse wave. If this fails, it makes another ABC. And then it tries to break into an impulse wave up. And then if that fails, it'll make an 11 wave structure like that instead. Excuse me there. Makes an 11 wave structure like that. So now the big question is it going to fail? Is this impulse wave going to fail and then make some sort of WXYZ correction pattern, right? So we have to be very mindful of all the different scenarios. So now this becomes an 11 wave structure. Count with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So I'm actually in a short position right now, just so you guys know. I'm in a short position because I feel that the top is getting very, very near, and I got nothing to hide, guys, about my position. I'm very confident to talk about it, and it's just my personal belief, right? So I'm not really down a lot. I'm actually I'm going to be up in just a few minutes here. My short position is only 1 Bitcoin. I like to play about, $10,000, $11,000 for my day trading position in my margin account, and we're actually just down ticking right here already. Okay, I'm just going to be scalping here and there just to see how this goes. So yeah, so now we want to test to see if this impulse wave can fail. Now let's talk about how this impulse wave can fail. Let me have a sip of water. Okay, so how can this impulse wave fail? Right now, the structure that we are in is this one right here. I'm going to highlight it with purple, or just make the impulse wave purple. We are almost at the top of this third wave, and we are almost about to start our wave 4 correction. Now, the first wave that began, if it failed to begin with, Elliott wave says this. I'm going to write it out for you guys to see and understand. Elliott wave says that wave failure says that 1, wave 2 cannot retrace more than 100% of wave 1. Now, another one is wave 4 cannot retrace into wave 1 territory by more than a wick on a high time frame in a leveraged market. And also wave 4 cannot retrace more than 100% into wave 100% of wave 3. These are very important rules to understand, okay? Once again, Elliott wave failure for wave states that wave 2 cannot retrace more than 100% of wave 1. Wave 4 cannot retrace into wave 1 territory by more than a wick on a high time frame in a leveraged market, and wave 4 cannot retrace more than 100% of wave 3. So everybody thought that this impulse wave was going to fail. So we treat this right here as a hard resistance, or support rather, and we treat wave 3 as well. We treat wave 3 as well. We'll get to that, okay? So this one could retrace about 99.99% repeating, right? That would be awesome if we retraced about that much right there, because then it implies that the impulse wave did not fail. And then it attempts to break out. It attempts to break out into an impulse wave upwards, and if that fails, then we look for wave 4 retracement, okay? We look for wave 4 retracement, and we say, is it going to retrace by more than wave 1 territory first, right? If it does, we might assume, hey, could the whole entire first wave make some sort of diagonal or flat, etc.? But if it does retrace by more than 100% into the original wave, like this, for example, boom, we have a wave failure, and we can automatically expect some sort of ABC correction pattern like that instead, right? Where that will make A, B, C down here like this. This happens all the time, guys. It really does happen all the time. So let's say that this wave ends up being successful, okay? If that wave ends up being successful, at the end of the whole 5-wave impulse, we now look for A, B, C like this. And we say to ourselves, well, the whole entire wave right here, because this is actually making a wave 1, you have to keep in mind. So it still follows the Elliott wave rule. This ends up becoming wave 1 right here, and this is wave 2. So wave 2 cannot retrace by more than 100% of where it began. If it does, we consider that a complete impulse wave failure. Excuse me. I'm just going to clear this up now. I'm going to go over here now. So let's talk about Elliott wave and where we are at in very brief detail, because I've counted it so many times already that I'm just not wanting to do it again. We call this one ABC right here with a truncated C position. This is the way I'm annotating it. A lot of people have actually drawn it differently, right? Which I absolutely respect, but we all get to the same page. It pretty much just ends up being the exact same way as well, regardless of if we call it this whole thing of ABC or this whole thing of WXY. So I call this my ABC right here, and then I say that this one right here attempted to make an impulse wave up from this point right here. And because it attempted to make an impulse wave up, I look at this point right here, okay? And I say to myself, okay, well, if this is wave 1 right here, and this actually retrace obviously more than the territory of there, then that's considered an impulse wave failure, right? And because it's an impulse wave failure, what I will automatically denote this as is, the whole thing as WXY. So now I end up calling it WXY like this, just like that. Awesome, right? Okay, so now we end up calling, let's annotate it properly as well. Don't mind the degree that I'm using. I like to use big degrees just for visibility. So now there we go. We get our 7-wave structure right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Beautiful. And from A here, this basically makes we're just going to keep it super simple, guys. 3 waves right here. Minuet. And then we will also call this right here 5 waves down, which we see very clearly as well. And this now completes our official WXY corrective pattern. Beautiful, in my personal opinion. There we go. So 1, 2, 3 right here, 4 right there, and 5 right here. Looks pretty good. So let's have a look now at everything else going on. So now what we're testing is basically, are we testing to see, 1, is this WXY done? 2, is this an official impulse wave up? 3, will this wave fail? And 4, will this turn into a WXYZ corrective pattern? And we don't know yet, okay? We have no idea. So we're now wondering, is this the top of 3? And 4, where is 4? That's to be determined. And where's 5? That's also to be determined as well. Now let's clear up this entire chart because we don't need all this information anymore. We already know exactly where we stand, okay? This is very subjective. The way that this is specifically counted, this is probably the ugliest impulse wave that I have ever seen before, and it's incredibly difficult to count. Some would argue that this is the count, 2, 3 is somewhere up here, right? 4, and there's a 5 somewhere up there. I'm going to call this right here. This makes sense to me, like that. So now, if this makes sense to me, then we're going to break it down even further. And let's just call this on a, sure, this one right here looks pretty good. We're going to break it down further and call this 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're looking for a 5th point somewhere up here. And I'm going to break down why I think that we are near the top, okay? So one reason why I think we're near the top is we're meeting a lot of resistance around these specific ranges, right? Just taking the average of these lines right here, right in the middle, we can clearly see that around the 11,250 ranges, 11,200, that's a really hard resistance. We also draw it all the way back over here, and what we're seeing is some pretty massive resistance, guys, right? Just generally speaking, in this area right here. But more so, I say in this area right here. Here, this price action dictates that there's some trouble right around here as well. Massive areas right here. So let's see what else we can come up with and to find some resistance levels. Another thing that we see is right here as well. If I take the peak of here and here as a sloped trendline support, hey, it actually intersects, doesn't it, guys? It intersects right here around the 12,200 range. Let's see what else we can find. If we take our Fibonacci extension tool from where the impulse X wave failed, we're now looking at it from here to here, and we're finding that the 382 offers resistance, right around here. Then boom, we broke right out of it. But then again, we're also meeting this critical apex zone right there. So yeah, right? Now what else do we see? We also see that this candle on the daily chart is actually right above the 55 EMA. So that's another. So we're meeting a lot of different points of resistance right now, taking into account the 0.5 Fibonacci level, taking into account the 55 moving average right here, taking into account this sloped trendline support, and also taking into account this heavy price activity area right in this region. So are we just going to shoot past it? We also have to consider some of the threats out there right now, right? People are going to take profit eventually. Absolutely, they're going to take profit when we reach some very key points right now. We have been on a massive uptrend since $6,000, and I'm sure that some people may want to take some profit. Now, it's not guaranteed that this is exact top, right around here. It's more so just a general guesstimation between 10,000 or 11.2 and 11.5, roughly around that area. So we look at the volume, the daily, it's still looking really good, guys. But there's no doubt that everything is starting to get kind of oversold right now. Or overbought, rather. I always use those words interchangeably by accident. Sorry about that. So we noticed that finally it ended up downtrending, right? Just a little bit there. What about on the 15? How's this looking? All right. Looks like there's one more tiny wave up, in my opinion. Let's break it down even further and see what we can do with our Elliott waves. So I'm not going to count this entire structure again, okay? Because it was really tedious, and I don't think we really need to go over it again because it's been pretty clear based on the amount of times that I've counted it. We will call this 1 right here. We're going to take our Fibonacci extension tool. Okay, so I've annotated my charts a little bit better and nicer now. I got a pretty decent chart here. So once again, we're going to go over A, B, C, which starts X, or sorry, W right here. And then this is the X point. The X point right here denotes failure. And it denotes failure because wave retraces more than 100%, of the impulse wave right here. Okay, this is the break line right here where people probably entered a short position, I'm guessing, right around here. So that's a pretty good place as well to consider it a wave failure, okay? So this is where X is. and now after, or sorry, W, and then from X to Y, there's now an A, B, C down here, which we've counted. Now, wave 3 characteristics, once again, that wave 3 characteristics, it is often the longest, it is never the shortest. It can be shorter than wave 1, but has to be longer than wave 5. It can be shorter than wave 5, but has to be longer than wave 1. I should write has to be, but has to be longer than wave 1. And finally, it has to hit, it hits 1-to-1, and here, I'm just putting in here that it hits the 1-to-1 extension target, which is right above there, right? It hits a 1-to-1 extension target. And then we also ask ourselves, is this major resistance? Is this the top soon? That's very important to ask, right? And we're going to break down this specific wave structure in here as well. So let's say that it was the top, right? Because wave ABC right here is now at a 0.5 Fibonacci level. So we get this, we get a 0.5 Fibonacci level. That's 1, okay? 2 is we get this horizontal line right there. That's going, right? We're getting a massive horizontal line right there. That's our second point of resistance. 3, we are getting a sloped trendline support as well, right? And with huge price activity. So we have some major areas of resistance right now. So let's say that this was the top, or very soon. What we'll actually end up testing is this. We will soon test wave 4 to see if Elliott wave rules hold, where 1, it does not retrace into the territory by more than a wick in leverage the markets. 2, will wave 4 retrace 100% of wave 3? If it breaks these rules, we will consider it an impulse wave failure, okay? So let's talk about some major, I'm going to actually, do I want to clear all this up? Do I have my chart saved? I just want to make sure it's saved right here. Yeah, sure, we'll clear it up. Okay, we'll get closer now to this, okay? So why is this a major resistance? Okay, why is this a major resistance right here? Let's talk about this. I'm going to draw this right in here, get a little bit closer for you guys. Just in here like that. So why is this a major resistance? I know I've said that like 9 times. Let's actually delete some of this now that we don't need a lot of it. You guys kind of get the idea. Let's delete this, to be determined. Actually, I want to make sure you guys understand that these are not actual targets, okay? So, reasons why this is a major resistance, and I'm going to break it down for you guys. Let me do it here off the camera. All right, I've broken down my chart even more. Make sure you guys are going to Steam it to get these charts, okay? I'm not going to be really posting them on Twitter all the time. People are like, oh, do you have a Bitcoin chart? Do you have a Bitcoin chart? Well, just go to Steam it and maybe bookmark my profile, and you guys can get you can access all the information there, right? Okay, so let's talk about more things now, okay? Now, if this is not the top, a possible 5th wave extension can occur, and we may possibly reach possible 11,500 ranges, okay? Though it's not likely. We'll have to break some major resistances in this 11,250 range to see anywhere from 11.5 to 11.75 ranges. Now, why do we think, once again, these are some major resistances, right? We think because, first of all, one reason is right here. Number 1 is that wave ABC 0.5 fib resistance is reached, right? 2, there's a slope to trendline resistance right here that I annotated. 3, wave 3 hit 1-to-1 extensions of wave 1 and 2, right here, the 1-to-1 extension. 4, I don't have the daily chart here, but I showed you guys already that the 55 EMA is basically right in between it, right? And 5 count Elliott wave is pretty much finished. So wave 4 is to be determined, and wave 5 is to be determined as well. So we need to test to see how far this wave 4 will go down. Will it go into the wave 1 territory? Will it go to wave 4 territory? Will it completely retrace all the way? We don't know, but we're hoping for it to be bullish, right? And then after we get some sort of correction, which could happen soon, what'll end up happening is wave 5, right, finishes, it gets to some specific point, which we don't know where yet exactly, and then we will be looking for some sort of A, B, C corrective pattern to see how far down this possibly goes, okay? How far down it possibly goes, and we simply do not know right now, okay? Simply do not know. So let's break down this region very far, okay? Let's break down this region further and see what the heck is going on, and we will try to get a 5 official wave count. If we can get a 5 official wave count, then we can easily determine where the top can possibly be. Alrighty, now let's break it down, break it down, break it down. Okay, we're gonna see what kind of Elliott waves we have in here, okay? Let's break this down very, very heavily right now. Favorite drawing tools are up. We see a clear one right here. Wave 1 right here, right? Super duper clear. Would you guys not agree with me? That's one peak. That's as clearly a bottom as well. Now this right here is clearly a third. The fourth barely retraced. Like we're talking just completely barely retraced, okay? And then if we break it down even further on, for example, one of these time frames, right there, okay, what we see now is actually, it's beautiful to me, but we don't know until we know, which I will explain to you guys very soon. Okay, I'm going to put that in here just like that. I'm going to choose a very small time frame, like a minute, and I will draw it in here like that. So this is actually pretty much done from what I can see, okay? It's pretty much done from what I can see, but a 5th wave extension can absolutely occur, okay? And let me explain to you what a 5th wave extension is for the people that don't know. So this ends up becoming one wave of 5. 1, 2, 3, right? You know, and we just keep going higher and getting a series of higher highs. So a possible 5th wave extension is absolutely possible, but I cannot help but think to myself right now that I see 5 waves and there's no other way to see it right now. Now, don't get me wrong, guys, like I have no idea if really this is the top or not. I'm just going based off of what I see. We could very well end up getting even more extended waves, right? But we gotta acknowledge and respect the fact that this RSI is extremely high. Now, for example, here we started to see it bearishly diverge, and that's how we were able to catch the top of this one. We haven't exactly caught the top yet because it's much higher than it was before. So what we want to look for soon on a 2-hour chart, for example, is try to find signs of bearish divergence, right? And a really good signal would probably be something like that, right? That's a pretty decent trend line support that it's forming right here, and I would imagine that if it does break down from here, then we're probably going to see a pretty heavy downtrend. So I don't know, guys, if this is the top or not. I'm more so here to present arguments to give you guys an insight on what I think right now. Don't mind the sound in the background. I'm at my parents for the weekend. We're having dinner here. So yeah, like I really don't know if this is the top or not, guys. It's really hard to tell because the wave structures could be very congested, right? It can be very congested and hard to tell in general. So we never know, like this could all be part of one wave right now, right? And we're gonna get some higher highs. Like this could all be one wave. So let's say that I was completely wrong right here and there's a different alternate count that I just simply don't see. So that's a possibility as well, right? So for example, this one was pretty decent to count, right? If I started from here, that could have been 1. That could have been 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, like this right here, right? And that was kind of easy to count, but in hindsight, it's really easy to count. Now, we simply just do not know what is going on, but we do see right now, the 2-hour chart, the volume is really dying off right now, okay? On a 1-hour chart, we take a look at this candle with 9 minutes left only. It's definitely a really ugly candle. We're getting a series of rejections right here, okay? Just on the downside, it's starting to really push down. On the 45-minute chart, we're seeing a lot of the volume just decline right now. I gotta finish this quickly. I gotta go have supper right away. Okay, yeah, other than that, like, this is a pretty nasty candle here as well, and we're seeing series of declining volume. So how much higher can this actually get? I really wish I can tell you guys. I really wish I knew, but, you know, let's just look at some scenarios now where even if it got to like 12K ranges, right? That's what actually I can't see it getting to 12K. I see it getting to 11,750 at the absolute highest, okay? So let's just hypothetically play around. So if we took our Fibonacci extension, we're gonna first of all respect the trend line. We're gonna respect this trend line heavily, okay? We're gonna respect that trend line and we're gonna say, okay, well, could it possibly bounce off of there? Maybe, maybe not, right? Doubt it, to be quite honest. This trend line's probably gonna end up breaking. So let's treat and respect wave 1 territory rules that we've been implementing thus far. So we say to ourselves, okay, if this is wave 1 territory right here, right? If it's wave 1 territory, then, well, I'm gonna delete all this stuff now. We don't need all this anymore here. I already annotated it a lot. Okay. So we're gonna treat this as a hard resistance right here. I'm gonna draw an arrow. Actually, I'll be back. I'm gonna record it, then I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So this is I've been posting a lot of charts on Steemit. Make sure you guys are going there to follow me and to make sure you guys got access to this. Okay. So if this is not a possible top or a top, a possible fifth wave extension can occur, or simply the wave count is wrong, and we may reach a possible target of up to 11,750, though in my opinion, not likely. We'll have to break some major resistances to get there in the 11,250 range to see 11.5 or 17.5 or 11.75 range. So we're going to treat wave 1 territory according to Elliott wave rules like that. We're going to treat it so that wave 1 as a hard support, we'll treat that as a hard support, where wave 4 doesn't retrace into this territory by more than a wick on a high time frame in a leveraged market. And 2, if wave 4 does not retrace heavily to wave 1 territory and retraces 100% of wave 3, we will consider this an impulse wave failure. 3, assume bullishness first that it will hold. If not, WXYZ correction begins, right? So this is likely a top in my opinion, okay? But we have to always ask ourselves, is this a valid count? Will a fifth wave extension occur, right? Is this an actual valid count right here? So we got to find out very soon. Now, let's take a conservative approach, okay? A conservative approach would be to assume the maximum high of, say, 11,750, right? Assume that. Now, large range for now because we're lacking data. So right here, treat wave 1 as a hard support based on Elliott wave rules right there. Treat wave 3 as wave 3 peak as support, 11,300 right here, okay? Take a support range between then 9,074 to 11,300. Now we see a range between 382 fib and 0.65 fib, right? If we take the fib of this one here to our maximum high, it actually fits our fib range very well. And as more data comes in, we can isolate a tighter range. So this was one of the more complicated technical analysis that I've done, but this is how we break it down. Basically, the big question is, when do we start shorting it right now, right? I've already cut my short, just so you guys know. Like, I took like a $30 loss or something. I'm cool with that. I don't really care. And I'm just going to keep stacking up my shorts eventually as we get higher up, and we'll see where we go from now, okay? So we look at the shorts. Shorts are actually getting liquidated right here, and so are the longs, okay? Longs are getting liquidated, shorts are both getting liquidated. They're coming down proportionally as well. So it's really on a fence right now. So this is not more so a prediction video. It's more so to give you guys an insight on how to think, okay? And what we want to find out is how many people are actually shorting. How high is this actually going to go? And then once we start to see the short tables end up getting higher, then we'll see exactly if it's going to break higher than that, and we want to be able to short it. A healthy correction is absolutely necessary soon in order for us to progress higher, okay? So we have to have some sort of correction very soon. Otherwise, you know, things don't go up forever, guys. They really don't go up forever. I mean, another possible thing that could have happened is, hey, maybe if we took wave 1 extension right here, okay? Let's say we took wave 1 extension and this actually ended up hitting 161.8, right? If that hit 161.8, this is the scenario right there, 12,500, slightly shy of it. But we're talking about this one right there. So we need to be on the edge right now And you know, this is not a prediction video. Once again, this is just a technical analysis video. So if you guys are gonna honestly cry about my prediction, like a lot of people do, I don't really care, and go cry me a river. I'm being really firm about that. I'm getting so irritated when it comes to people just giving me flack for doing free TA. It's like, good gosh, guys, grow up already, okay? Grow up and do your own TA if you want, or follow someone blindly, like a third party blindly. So, you know, I don't really care anymore if you guys are losing money or whatever. Like, my goal is to help out the people that want to make money and succeed, but I don't want to be helping out all the people that are just crying about, you know, like technical analysis because they got it wrong and they're following them blindly. Anyways, these are my thoughts for a technical analysis. It was a more complicated one. I don't really have a better prediction than what I am giving right now, so I hope it has helped in some way or another. Other than that, I really appreciate your time and your effort and your support, especially for watching these videos. Okay, make sure you guys support me by subscribing to YouTube, to Twitter as well, to Steam It. I'd appreciate an upvote on there. If you guys feel I'm doing a freaking fantastic job, you guys are welcome to donate to the Luna cryptocurrency piggy bank. Okay, a lot of people have said to me, they're like, oh, why do you even talk about donations if you're doing really well? Well, you know what, guys? The only reason I bring it up is why not? Okay? Why not is the word. And some people actually appreciate what I do. And they actually have asked me, hey, you know what? I want to buy you a lunch. I want to buy you a beer. And that thought alone really counts. I'm not here in any way to fish for your money or to beg for donations. In fact, I don't care about it. But what I do care about is just the genuine gesture when people do it. And that makes me feel pretty important. So I'm just clearing some things up in my channel once again, just to be very clear. Have yourselves a great day, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the future. Bye now.